So where does the party go from here? And why is Pierre Poilievre the right person to lead the party? With me now is Conservative MP-elect Gérard Deltell. Mr. Deltell, pleasure to see you. Thank you very much for making the time.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I deeply appreciate it.
Why, Mr. Deltell, do you think your party lost the election?
Well, obviously, there is a lot of factors. We cannot identify or point out one element among all the others. We all recognize that, yes, we lost, and at the same time, we increase our support. So, we have to deal with these two realities while confronting each other. We were all candidates to win, but we lost. So we have to look correctly. In French, we have the expression soulever chacune des pierres, to lift each and every stone to see exactly what went right and what went wrong. And by the way, in the evening of the election, Monsieur Poilievre said clearly, we have to see exactly what went wrong to win the next time. So this is what we are doing right now, talking to the people, listening to the people, our supporter, our base, and also the Canadian to see what can we do better in the next time. But there is no point out one element to focus on. This is always after a defeat, we have to see each and every aspect of the campaign.
Do you have a gut feeling, Mr. Deltell, in Quebec specifically? Because it is interesting to see on the electoral map the degree to which Quebec ended up helping the Liberals ultimately be able to form government. Why do you think your party fell short in Quebec more specifically?
Well, we grew up, as I said earlier, we increased our support. We are now in almost 24%, so 1 Quebecois and 4 is voting for us. 10 years ago, we got elected, most of us, with only 10 to 15%. We had 9 members 2 months ago, and now we have 11 members. We also recognize that, and very touchy to talk about other political parties, but the bloc collapsed. The leader, Mr. Blanchet, lost almost a third of his caucus, even if he ran a good campaign. So most of the impact has been in the hand of the Bloc Québécois, while us, we increase. But obviously, we increase, but not enough, so we have to work more than ever.
Yeah, because the Bloc support, yes, you're absolutely right to point out that it collapsed, but it largely moved over to the Liberals, not to your party.
Yes, so this is a question will be to ask to the Bloc supporter who decided to go to the Liberal instead to us, because we had a platform, some element were focused on the Quebec needs for immigration for some issue, because everybody know and realize and recognize, finally even the government recognized that the Quebec pay a huge price to welcome all the immigrants. And when you don't have a good policy of immigration, the first victim of that is the immigration. This is what we have seen in the last years under the former government. So now we have to address this issue as a Canadian, and also I think the Bloc people will have to explain why they prefer the Liberal.
Do you think Mr. Poilievre is a liability to your party? And I know the point that you and your colleagues have made about the degree to which under his leadership your share of the vote increased, the number of seats increased, but you did fall short of winning an election that you were just a number of months ago going to form a majority government through. And also, more to the point, Mr. Poilievre could not convince voters in his own riding that he was fit to be prime minister. Do you think he is a liability to your party's future success?
Yes, because his reaction to this result was very on the tone and on the word were very positive tone. He recognized that we lost, and he said that as I said earlier, he said at the evening of the debate, at the election, he said we have to watch exactly what went wrong. So he has a positive tone and also a very respectful tone to that. He said we have to work with the Prime Minister and the other parties to address the threat of Mr. Trump. So this is a very positive tone that we have to follow. And also his video message was crystal clear that he need to learn and to grow. So this is this is exactly the attitude that we will have after a defeat. So he's very humble, and we appreciate that situation. On the other hand, as you said, we increase our support under the leadership of Mr. Poilievre.
So when he says he needs to learn and grow, how would you tell him to do that?
Well, he asked us, he said that also publicly a few minutes before our caucus. He said that we have to meet people at the coffee shop, town hall, and having conversation with all Canadians to grow our support. Because we also recognize that there is a lot of people who never vote for the Conservative before are now on our side. The Union people are now on our side. We won big and strong NDP ridings in Ontario or even in BC also, where there is a Union strong tradition, and then we get it. Why? Because Pierre talked to them directly. Same thing also for the youth. There is a lot of young person who are the first time voter and decided to vote for us. And for many years, we lost them. So this is, you know, the reality under Pierre Poilievre's leadership. We grew up, but we increased, but we also have a defeat. So this is why we have to grow to have more support in our rank or our rank.
Is it dangerous, though, Mr. Deltell, with great respect, to assume that the new support you garnered in this election will stay there? And I ask because it was against the backdrop, right, of a 10-year Justin Trudeau record, which you, as in opposition, highlighted over and over and over again. You know, it might not go that badly for Prime Minister Mark Carney, and it might be a different situation where that support doesn't stay static in the next election.
Well, obviously there's something is sure in politics that nothing is sure. So this is why we have to work very well. And I think that, you know, during the 2 years under the official opposition that Mr. Poilievre was, he was so efficient, you know, that we convinced a lot of Canadians. But first and foremost, we convinced the Liberal Party to kick out Justin Trudeau and to pick up a lot of our proposition. And also we attacked the NDP, the fact that they were, you know, not very efficient in the House. And then suddenly those people decided to support us because we were talking to the union guys instead of the union establishment. We're talking directly to the people, and the people appreciate that. So for sure, we recognize that in the December there was a situation, and now it's another situation. Between that, what did happen? The Prime Minister was ejected by his own rank, and there is the threat of Mr. Trump's tariff and all the other threats by Mr. Trump. We have to recognize it too.
But what about your party's own role in not being able to acclimate?
Well, obviously, the leader said that we have to communicate differently to attract new people to our part, and this is part of the reflection that we have. So each and every stone will be lifted to see what went wrong, and then we will fix our situation.
I'm going to leave it on that note. Mr. Deltell, thank you for making the time. I appreciate it.